Hey guys, it's Chris, and today we're working on the Amiga 1200. What are we going to do? We're going to plop in an internal FPU. Why? Stick around and find out. So as you can see here, we have my Amiga 1200 with the GoTech and the Scan Plus AGA. It also has the Amiga Kit clock sensor, battery, clock module. It's got a bunch of stuff. It looks like the Sherwood Forest inside with all the wiring, but it works very well. Previously on my video I have the TF1230 from Stephen Leary, and the latest firmware has been flashed to it thanks to my Xilinx programmer skills, which are weak. We are currently at 98% on my original battery, and I'll scroll in just to show you that this is not stock. We have the 68030 MMU, blah 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 blah, 68030, 68030, and right here, no FPU. I think that's the weak sauce of the TF1230. Don't have one. This is a Workbench 3.2.1. It has 64 megs of 32-bit fast RAM, thanks to the TF1230. 2 megs of chip off the Alice and Lisa for AGA. This is running in a multi-scan 256 color display. That does chew up a little chip RAM, but it gives me a nice display. A lot of times I don't really care about the Workbench color, so I will run it in a 8 color mode. There we go. So this will be an 8 color. It's a little bit more snappy, and it doesn't look the best, but you can see it loads very fast. So what I'm going to do real quick, like every Amiga owner in the world does, we're going to run Sysinfo. This is Sysinfo 4.4. You can see we are a 68030 no FPU and a 68030 MMU in use. For a baseline on your Amiga 1200 stock, you're about 14 megahertz. We're just going to hit speed. I'll even give her the tug. But right now you can see we're 16.7 times faster than the Amiga 600. We're rocking 3.28 times the chip speed. 9.22 MIPS, no megaflops because we have no FPU, 8,835 dry stones. Ooh, we're acceleration. So 60-30, 60-30 at 51.8 megahertz. This TF1230 is a great accelerator for your Amiga 1200. But the weak point of this is the FPU missing. The FPU slot in U0, I believe it is not there. It's just a blank solder spot. So you have two options. One, you can solder an FPU directly onto the board, and that would be a PLCC type package and do your best, right? Or option two, acquire yourself some sockets for them. They're still readily available. Now what you'll have to do is you have to pop out this little wafer so you can solder the points, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So what are the benefits of this? Chris, you're nuts. The Amiga 1200 doesn't have any crystals for an FPU. How are you going to do that? That's not the point of this exercise. The FPU will use the CPU's internal clock, which is 14.2 megahertz here in America, where Jesus lives, and that is going to allow you to at least have FPU functionality for programs that require an FPU. Yes, it's only 14 megahertz, but the stock CPU, the ECO20, that comes with the 1200 is only 14 megahertz. So that is why your clock speed is going to be the stock of the board. That doesn't matter to me. I just want the FPU to see if it can be done. I've already removed the screws. Let me adjust myself 800 times. Alright, so AmigaPCB.org is a great resource for you guys if you're doing circuit tracing. I am a 1D1, the most common. If you have one of the new ones, you'd have a 2B, which is the one with the separate mouse panel. Alright, I did this in black and white just to show you. Right here is your FPU slot. This is the Amiga 1200 board. This is kind of what you're going to be looking like because of the board coloring. So we're going to solder a socket in right here. You're going to notice pin 1 is down. For this exercise, I'm going to be soldering in one of these sockets. Sometimes you can just press them, but press them this way, like out of the chip if you're going to clip it, because the pins are on the bottom. And it will, pop right out. You just stick your finger in here and there you go. Now you can see we have all the pins available. Just mark myself a line just so I know there's one, pop the chips out. So this is going to sit in here like this. And this is going to be hard because I don't have an overhead cam because I'm poor. Okay, and I'm also left-handed, so I'm going to be in your way. Helmet of Goober, check. The important part of this is to make sure that you are lined up. These are pre-tinned. I have an extremely fine solder tip on here, so I just literally touched each one and drug it around. That's crazy. I don't know if you can even see what I'm doing. There's enough solder on here to hold this socket in. Flux this. I'm going to show you the drag. Just flux the crap out of it. This is a 186 Kester liquid no clean, and I'm going to lower my temperature. I have to keep it low. I'm going to get a big ball of solder on here and just drag it. And you're going to get bridges, but that's okay, because you're going to go back over them. The flux is going to keep it separated. But it's just going to make sure I have enough adhesion on each pin. Like, oh no, you have a blob. Yeah, no big deal. I'll just braid a little piece of that out. There we go. Not bad. I'm not the best drag soldering. If you want to really watch someone who has great skill with this, Gadget UK does this all the time, and he does a great job at the drag solder. He will reflow. He could reflow anything really good. Me, I'm old, blind, and dumb. So I have enough experience to do it 3 times, but not enough to do it right the first time. So now I'm going to try and zoom in. This camera is butts. So while this looks like dookie, it's just a little juicy, okay? It looks like this one. They all look like that one. I got about 3 of them just floating in here because I drop them. We're going to wipe out any flux residue off of these pins, and I'm only just slightly crooked. Sorry, Gadget. We share the same name, so hope I did okay. That's as good as I can get on this 1080p camera. They're fine. Okay. So, that was easy. Okay, so here's our FPU. Please note you have a dot somewhere on here, right there. 1 to 1, and just give it a shove. There we go. That is U0 with an FPU installed. Will it work? I have no idea. I wish this would stick. It sticks until I put the lid on. We're going to go ahead and reinsert our keyboard. This is the hard membrane I was telling you about. We got the slots for the Amiga 500 and the 1200. Still be careful of your ribbon cable. But the benefit is you remove that little plastic thing and you get a really hard fiberglassy circuit board clicky thing that you can just shove your keyboard connector back into. It makes this so much easier just to go like that and you're rocking. I still like to give it the tuck, the Taiwan tuck. We're going to roll back here. Now remember, I am a TF1230. If you have a card that has an FPU built in, this is going to do you no good because it's going to bypass the onboard FPU and use the FPU like the 1260 would probably have and other. Oh, I totally snapped that button out of there. Son of a bitch. Alright, what's this, Doctor? I don't care. Alright, so we got her running. Let's go to System, Tools, and we're going to do Show Config. You see that okay? Let me zoom in a little bit before I hit it. Show Config. Look what I got. You saw originally we did not have an FPU. Ah hee hee ha! What's the benefit of that? Well, I know Mr. Doug would love the 1230 with an FPU. I know it's only 14 megahertz, but can it be done? Yes. Let's see what really it is. Now remember, this has no crystal. We're going to be rocking at the speed of, we're going to run Sys speed 2. We're rocking at the speed of the board. So this is going to be at 14-ish megahertz. 17.25, I don't know. 51 megahertz still on the CPU. Now we're going to run AIBB results, which I should have done prior to even doing this. 9123, 9.52, 0.43 on the MIPS, or M-flops. Ooh, nothing to be happy about, but it works. Isn't that cool? Let's run AIBB. We're going to do the old ball, the beach ball. So we are an 030. We're going to do this to 020. We're going to do CP math, which is coprocessor. You can do SC, which is your standard processor. We're going to do, first we're going to do it SC math. We're going to do beach ball. Whew, that was abysmal. Hard to watch. 61.3. Let's say 62 seconds. Here you go, perfect example. FPU clock is at stock 14.3. But we have an FPU in an Amiga 1200. Isn't that freaking awesome? Can you do this? Yes. How much did it cost? $27. It was $3.99 for 6 sockets. You can see I have 4 left. Why do I have 4? Because I broke one. It was, I think, $15 for an FPU, 6882. Got a couple of them. One doesn't work. So now we're going to flip this to CP math, and we're going to do the same test, beach ball, floating point unit. Is it going to be better? Probably. Look at that. So 61 seconds on a 50 megahertz 030, and this is a 14.3 megahertz FPU with the 030. So they're helping each other out. Are we better than 61 seconds? I believe so. 18.91 seconds. Can this benefit you if you have a Terrible Fire card and a stock Amiga and you just want an FPU? As you can see, yes it can, because our previous attempt at this on CP Math was 61.3 seconds with an FPU 18.91. This is a 50 megahertz 030 TF1230 with the latest firmware, I think. And 14 as of February 2022, March 2022, March 2022, and 14.3 megahertz stock clock. So what can we do with this? I can run Lightwave, I can run Advanced Ad Pro, and I can run stuff that I couldn't really benefit greatly from with the TF1230 because of a missing FPU. A lot of your art programs, your 3D-ish programs, especially Lightwave and many of the others, Imagine, stuff like that that we dabble with. So I mean, it's not the fastest in the world, but man, does it make a much improvement in speed of things that actually do it. Let's do floating point operations. CPSC. We're gonna do floating point ops. 0.0684. Okay, we're like. Now we're going to flip this to CP, flops again. Look at that, 18.76 now. That's not bad. Stock Amiga 1200 1.0. So just adding an FPU to my board. Do you need to even have an accelerator card in there? No, you can have one of those 8 meg boards or anything that plugs into the belly slot that's going to give you some extra RAM. Most of us use it for WHD load or some clock ports, something. It doesn't matter. If your card that you're using, like an ACA 1223 or some of the stuff from iComp, anything that has an FPU on it, all it will do is not use the onboard FPU. So that is a quick Amiga 1200 internal FPU upgrade. Can you benefit from doing this? Yes, you can. How long did it take? This video is now, I don't know, 29 minutes, and I went to the bathroom, so after editing, probably 15 real minutes of work. That is with my crappy soldering skills. I know enough to be dangerous. I am not the best, but you can practice on old PC cards, and due to these Coke bottles and the helmet of Goober, with the helmet of Goober, you can do anything, even if you're blind like me. So don't think that you cannot do this. You can do it. It was simple. You're not going to screw anything up. Worst case scenario, you won't have an FPU and you might burn your finger. or have another socket. No big deal. Make sure you mark your stuff to put it in the right way. Down is the right way. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this helps you, and as always, I hope you learned something.